Hey folks, so just a quick one today. I wanted to talk with you about fruits and vegetable intake and overconsumption of that and how that can sometimes lead to digestive issues. It's something that we see in the clinic all the time, so I wanted to give a little bit of a background on it, talk about what we see in the clinic, and help you out if any of that feels like it applies to you. So the reason this is really common that we see all the time is because in this diet culture world, in this weight loss world, it becomes a really common tactic to start eliminating more calorie dense options from meals, so things like grains or fats, and then replace them with vegetables because they're universally seen as healthy, which they are. They are wonderful for you, and they're typically pretty low calorie. So we see it all the time. Volumetrics was a really popular way that it was described before, but essentially, if you can fill your stomach with low calorie vegetables, you're going to feel fuller for longer, and maybe that will help you lose weight. And so before we really launch into this, let me be the first to say, I am a dietitian. Vegetables are wonderful for us, and I am absolutely not going to argue with that. Super high in fiber, which is great for us, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, other plant-based sterols that we don't even begin to understand how they're benefiting us. I am happy to see anybody who is interested and enjoys a wide variety of vegetables and other plant-based items in their diet. So the problem is that when we get into this diet culture era weight loss mindset where we're eliminating foods in favor of adding more fruits and vegetables, we very quickly run into the problem that there is an upper limit of what most of our bodies can handle when it comes to fruit and vegetable intake. And that really has to do with the amount of fiber that's coming into the diet. And after a certain point, fiber, which is again great for us for managing digestive motility and managing our cholesterol levels, fiber after a certain point really starts to turn on us, and it can start to lead to constipation, especially if we're not drinking enough. It can lead to actually loose stools or bowel urgency, feeling like you really need to go very quickly. Certainly lower abdominal stomach cramping, gas, bloating, burbling, feeling like your stomach is way overly full and distended. And worst of all, it can lead to feeling like you're not even satisfied with your meal. Your stomach can extend so that you're feeling full and you don't want to eat anymore, sometimes to the point of nausea, but your brain is not satisfied because there's no carbs there, there's no fat there, there's no real substance that helps the body feel satisfied after that meal. And then the other really important thing about fiber is when it gets to be too much, especially in the digestive process, one of the things it can do is actually hold on to trace minerals or sometimes vitamins and actually pull them out into the stool or the elimination process before your body gets a chance to actually absorb and use them in cellular functioning and processes. So that is another way that too much fiber can kind of come back and be a negative. It's not super common. It's not something that we see so much in the clinic, so I don't know that you would really worry about that right now for you, but just something to know that it can possibly happen, and it can again be one of those things that fiber's too much, we got to back down. This is a possible consequence of that. So if what you're eating throughout the course of the day seems to be really, really high in fruit and vegetable content, and if potentially you're also seeing these co-occurring IBS-related symptoms, or wondering, am I intolerant to some foods, or I can't tell what foods are making me feel like crap, but my stomach always feels bad, it's time to kind of check in with how much you're eating throughout the day and comparing that to what our body actually needs to function optimally. And luckily, we have a scientific consensus that has studied this for decades and decades and decades, and we have learned exactly what the human body needs to function optimally when it comes to fruits and vegetables. And so based on our fiber needs, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, most Americans and really most people probably need between 4 and 5 servings a day of fruits and vegetables total. Okay, fruits and vegetables combined. I think the official recommendation is 1 to 2 servings of fruit and 2 to 3, maybe 4 servings of vegetables. Again, this is it can be dependent on a person and any number of different factors. But really what I like to tell my clients is whatever you like, whatever you enjoy, I would go towards those foods. Sometimes it might be a little bit more fruit, for others it might be a little bit more vegetable, but 4 to 5 servings in total in a day is pretty much the upper limit of what we need to function optimally. I think a really helpful thing would be to demonstrate some serving size and go through what that actually looks like in a day. So we'll start with cooked vegetables. The official serving size for cooked vegetables is about a half a cup. So that looks like this. We have our sample broccoli here on a plate. Looks like that. So really probably a lot smaller than you might think or picture that vegetable servings might look like, but that's what we need for a serving size. For raw vegetables, the serving is typically a full cup. So this is our example of raw carrots, but other things that fit into this would be like cut up cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, peppers, things of that nature. So serving size there is about a cup. On a plate it looks like this. Okay, so this is kind of where the buck stops, right? So about a half a cup to a full cup of vegetables would be one serving. Ultimately, we need 2 to 3 of these in a day. So if you're getting at least one, either at lunch and dinner or potentially just dinner, and then maybe you're having some raw vegetable as a snack or something to that effect, or want to work on that, that's really what we need in terms of veggies for the day. In terms of fruits, serving sizes typically are a piece is equal to a serving size, so something like an apple, a banana, oranges, things of that nature, pears. Typically one fruit is one serving size. Some fruits are a little bit smaller though. Got my example here from my lunch bag. Mandarin orange or clementines, I think they're a good example of a smaller fruit that typically, one is not going to cut it as a full serving size. So often we'll say 2, maybe even 3, depending on how much time in your day that you have to peel mandarins or clementines. The hand size is a good way to estimate portion sizes. I would say that is about the same for berries too. And then in terms of dried fruits, those 100% count as fruit servings, but because they are dehydrated and quite concentrated, the serving size is a lot smaller. So that is generally about a quarter cup, or about what fits in like a small cupped palm of your hand. Sometimes I say like a claw from the bag is about a quarter cup, okay? So that's a little bit of background on really the total amount of fruits and vegetables that the majority of us need through the day, right? So half a cup of cooked, maybe a full cup of raw, and then a piece of fruit, or maybe a hand-sized portion of fruit. And in total, we probably need 4 to 5 servings of that per day. So if you feel like you're getting way more than this, and if you feel like it's actually accompanying some digestive or IBS related symptoms, it's a good thing to bring to a nutrition professional or potentially a doctor. And you can review your diet and maybe start paring down on some of the fruits and vegetables that you're including, and reincorporate some of the more calorie dense and ultimately more satisfying foods into your diet. So that would be your grains, your whole grains, fats, and maybe increasing protein depending on what that looks like in your diet. So just a quick one today. I hope this helps with understanding fruits, vegetables, their effect on digestion. That's all for today, and I will see you in the next one.